Well, good morning. We are in beautiful Bali, Indonesia, and we're on the rooftop of one of the restaurants here. I'm going to show you. Today has been a little bit rainy, so I found myself a good vantage point at the top here of this awesome restaurant where we can kind of see the surfers and see what's going on. We are going to talk today about deprogramming, about when we leave the West, we deprogram ourselves. And this actually came from a good conversation with one of you. A viewer met up with me in Thailand and talked about how living in Southeast Asia has actually been a deprogramming for him. He has had to deprogram from the West. And we had a good conversation that I'm going to share what we talked about with you. And while we're here in beautiful Bali, we're also going to get ourselves a great bite to eat. Absolutely. Are you kidding me? We're in one of the best places to relax and enjoy ourselves, even on a day that's a little bit cloudy. There's no rain falling, but it's a little bit cloudy today. We've got a lot to talk about deprogramming ourselves when we leave the West and live out in Southeast Asia in a very different environment. Yeah, we've got a lot to cover. Let's get going. Traveling the world as a minimalist with one backpack, that is what we do here. Subscribe and come along with Retire and Go. One of the ways that you're programmed in the West that I felt very much is the need to always posture yourself. You had to always be able to take an aggressive stance as to proving who you are, what your position is on a subject. You always had to be aggressive about why your subject or your point of view on a subject is right and others are wrong. There was no empathy. There was no reaching across the table. That's a big part of living in the West that I had to deprogram from. And I didn't even really realize it until I was about 1 year in. And I found myself listening to people that were from the West on vacation. And I could just tell them, yeah, you might be right. Yeah. I would even give my point of view. And if it was a different point of view that I got back, I was like, yeah, I could see your point. You would never do that in the West. That is a complete deprogramming that I went through. I did not feel anymore that I had to be arrogant, that I had to prove something to everybody, that I had to prove my worth. You know, when I'm living out here in Southeast Asia, I don't talk with people about like net worth or things like that. I don't discuss that. I don't feel there's anything that I have to prove to other people anymore. That's a huge deprogramming from the West. I'm about to program some caffeine into my system. It came and went with the rain. So when the rain would come in, I'd step inside and they have a nice coffee shop right here in the Sheraton. I just ordered a cappuccino. The cappuccino was $60,000. This is a resort. So of course, it's gonna be like a $4 cappuccino, double what you can expect to pay in other spots. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, that's great. They have been so friendly to me here because I've been filming all over the property today. The next thing that I had to deprogram from was a constant news cycle. That was a big change for me. In the West, we are constantly connected to the news, and the news is madness. It's designed to be madness. That's how it keeps you watching. It keeps you watching because it keeps you in fear, and I had to deprogram from that. Do you know what it's like to go an entire day and just not even know what's going on in the world? I know. It's almost crazy to think that. There's so much happening every day, and it's just bombarding us on the internet. And a lot of times, I have no idea what it is. That's right. I don't even keep up with it, and I love that. I don't even find out until I talk to family members. Sometimes I'll check the news. Sometimes something will come across my YouTube feed. That's about it. That was a huge deprogramming to turn off the fear news from the West. I had to turn off that level of programming that I always had to know what was happening in every aspect of life around the world, only from an avenue of how it's supposed to affect me negatively. Why would I want to know that all the time? Because that's how they keep you watching And that's how they keep you clicking and giving them airtime, is to keep you in fear. And I'm in fear that I'm getting hungry. It's time for some breakfast. Breakfast here in Kuta. Again, I'm showing you the back alley places. Here's the map to Bamboo Corner. I'm going to be doing, throughout these videos here in Bali, low-cost alternatives in back alley restaurants. Thank you. Yum. Right, this one right here. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you. This is a nice omelet with fruit and toast and a sizzling pepper steak together. These two meals came up to about 100,000 rupiah, and that's about $6 American for steak and eggs for breakfast. I love coming to this place. It's down the street from the Bali Diva Hotel, so this is a place that I go quite often. And each time I come to Bali, I definitely have to show the Bamboo Corner. By the way, they have a bunch of like Thai dishes and all that as well. For me, it tends to be my go-to breakfast place. So check out the Bamboo Corner. I showed you the location. You can't beat the price. Another aspect of the programming that I had to turn off was how the West wants you to deal with all that stress. Do you know how the West wants you to deal with that? With substances. That's right. They want to feed you the fear and the stress on the media. And then they want you to drink alcohol and use other substances to deal with that stress. And you know what? I was a buyer, baby. I was in that. I was in that world of using alcohol and other substances in order to deal with the stress. When I got rid of the stress, I was able to get rid of that too. Now, I don't feel bad going into an establishment like this and ordering a Coke Zero. And yeah, I still get some funny looks. But you know what? I don't have to deal with the same stress anymore. And so I don't have to try to compensate for it in order to feel better, in order to feel numb. I'm not trying to feel numb anymore. I actually want to experience life. I actually want to feel every day now. So I'm not trying to numb my senses with alcohol and substances. And I think that was part of the programming. The deprogramming when you leave the West and live in a place like Southeast Asia, one, you don't have to argue with everybody. You don't have to always be right. You can actually agree with people and have a chill conversation. You don't have to prove things to other people. You don't have to live with the fear cycle all the time of news. And you don't have to use substances to numb yourself, because that's the lifestyle that you're living in. I'm about to deprogram my hunger. I'm ready for some dinner. This is what you do. You go down the back alleys like this. This is where you're gonna find the little restaurants that are gonna give you a good deal, delicious food, and they're not gonna be as touristy, and they're not gonna be as touristy priced as the main roads. This is yummy Indian food, and I'm going to show you on a map where it's located. This is the kind of place that I am talking about. You won't find it on your apps, but I'm showing you here where it's located. A place like this, perfect. Little family-owned operation, low cost, delicious meals, just what I want. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Butter chicken made medium spicy with a fresh garlic naan. Are you kidding me? This is what I'm talking about. Now, I wanted to see what would be more expensive, the cappuccino or this meal. But, you know, because we get away from the beach and it's just going to be a lower cost. This all came up to 100,000 rupiah, or about $6. So the cappuccino was a little bit cheaper.
Fantastic, though. This is just what I like to look for. You know, part of deprogramming was to stop stressing about the cost of living, to stop stressing about how much I was paying for food, whether I was going to be able to meet my bills, and things still come up. I had some medical work done this year. That was an extra cost. But when I know that my cost of living is going to be low, I don't feel stressed when those times happen.
Well, it was close. The cappuccino was 60,000 rupiah, and the entire meal was 100,000 rupiah, so it was close. That just shows you, though, that the back alleys, you find the best deals.
You will be surprised the changes you will go through mentally and physically the first year that you walk away from the West.
I want to thank you for spending some time with me today. Are you interested in this lifestyle that I live? Traveling the world like this as a minimalist? Traveling with just one backpack? Well, if you are, like and subscribe the video and come with. If you want to support the channel, you can pick up a copy of my new book, The Traveler and the Bard. The link is in the description. Okay, we've got a lot more of Bali to see. We're relaxing and enjoying the Kuta area. It's been a little bit cloudy today, but you know what? It's still beautiful, and the temperature is absolutely wonderful. It's not too hot today, anything. We'll talk again soon. Aloha.
I was relaxed and de-stressed on the beautiful Kuta beach, but suddenly he saw me, the mad dog of Bali. Look at him, a vicious animal. He looks all just relaxing and enjoying himself on the beach. But the fact is, he's a vicious killer. The mad dog of Bali.
Now, living in the West and then leaving to go live in the South. Hey, hold on. Try that again. The wind is terrible. I didn't have to be arrogant. You didn't have to have a muffler anymore.